If cottage cheese has not won you over yet, this may just be the recipe that changes your mind, because I am making a rich, decadent, delicious double chocolate mousse using cottage cheese as the base, and I am telling you, it is delicious. If we have not met yet, my name is Danny Spies. I am a health, weight loss, and eating psychology coach who loves to make healthy eating feel easy while helping you build a mindset and a lifestyle that supports your goals. Now, I have to tell you, this recipe is so simple and it's so good. You only need 4 ingredients. So you need some cottage cheese, then I have some cocoa powder, a little bit of vanilla extract, and then some chocolate chips. Now, all of this is going to happen right in a blender or a food processor. Personally, I like using a food processor because I find it's easier to scoop the mousse out at the end. So either would work. A blender will get the job done. Just a quick side note on food processors. If you're looking to invest in a food processor, little inside tip for you, look for one that has a 4-cup capacity, because a lot of the mini processors are 3-cup, and that extra cup makes a big difference. So if you're looking for one, I will of course link the one that I'm using here down in the description box below. So the first thing in, we're going to add our cottage cheese. You need 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons, which is ultimately equivalent to 250 grams of cottage cheese, and you're going to get that right into your processor. Now, you can do this with a low-fat cottage cheese, or you can do this with a full-fat cottage cheese. I have tried both, and I'm going to tell you, they're both delicious. The biggest difference is if you use a low fat, the mousse ends up having a little bit more of like a pudding-like texture, whereas if you use the full fat, it's a little bit richer. So now we're kind of more in mousse territory. Okay, then I've got some cocoa powder, about 1.5 tablespoons. That's going right in, and then a bit of vanilla extract. Okay, now because we're making double chocolate mousse, we need another source of chocolate, and that's going to be our chocolate chips. You do want to melt them first. So I'm going to pop these in the microwave just for about 20-30 seconds, and then we'll stir them up and get them in. Quick tip, when you're melting chocolate chips in the microwave, you want to take them out when you can still see the shapes of some of the chips, but you can see that they're softened, because when you start to mix it, you'll see that they are ready to just blend right in. And if you were to leave it in the microwave for too long, you could scorch it. So look for soft, but still with a little bit of shape, and you'll see it stirs right up into some melted chocolate. Okay, once you've got it nice and smooth and silky, it goes right into the food processor with the rest of the ingredients. Now, because the intention of this is to make a protein-forward, lower sugar dessert, I like to use the Lily's chocolate chips. It's basically a chocolate chip that has no added sugar. So it's little tweaks like that that can really add up in the kitchen. And I have to say, they are rather delicious. Okay. This is them, actually, if you want to see them. This is what they look like. This bag's open, but that's what they look like. That's what the bag looks like. Now, if you know that you like a sweeter dessert, you can also add 1 or 2 tablespoons of maple syrup here, or a couple squirts of stevia. That would totally work. I have done that before. And kind of the way I roll is, if I'm making this for myself on a Tuesday, because I have a little bit of a sweet tooth, I'll usually make it with a low-fat cottage cheese, and I'll skip the extra sweetener. If I'm making it like for a family dessert or for the holidays, then I will go with the full-fat cottage cheese, a little bit richer, and I might add 1 or 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. It just kind of brings it all to the next level, but I have to say, both versions are delicious. Okay, from here, you're just gonna pop on the lid to your food processor. I gotta make sure that mine is locked in here. Yeah, it is. Okay. And then we're gonna blend it back and forth until it looks smooth and creamy. And I like to alternate in both directions. So I'll do like 20 seconds in one direction, 20 in the other, bop, bop, bop. Okay, once it starts to come together, I like to open it up, and then I'll just scrape the sides down and then do it again, because she is very rich. I mean, it really looks just like a thick, almost like a ganache. Again, this was the full fat cottage cheese I'm using right now, so she's a little bit thicker. Very fun with the holidays coming up. You could always like make something like this, but don't tell people what the secret ingredient is. I used to do this with my my avocado chocolate pudding and let them eat and enjoy, and then see if they can guess what the secret ingredient was. Okay, this is looking really good. You're gonna know you've arrived because, again, it's going to look thick and silky and delicious, and you're not gonna see little white bits throughout. So then what you wanna do is put it in your containers. I love and highly recommend these little mason jars. They're 4 ounces each, but they are the perfect size. And what I have here today is gonna make 2 servings, okay? So what I personally like to do is, let's move this out of the way, is grab a big spoon, and then I just go back and forth to try to make look even, right? So we'll do, oh, look at this texture, OMG. Can you see how this texture, it is like silky, smooth, creamy, rich, decadent, delicious. And once you pop this in the fridge and you let it set up, it gets even thicker and more delicious. And I have one I'm gonna show you in a minute. So we'll just get these in our jars like this, and then you can always pick it up, give it a little tap, just get any of those air pockets out. And again, not only are these gorgeous and perfect for the holidays, but if you are working on health goals, weight loss goals, fitness goals, and you find yourself sometimes with a sweet tooth, this is the perfect fix. And I often say, you know, it's not only about, trying to make a lighter dessert. It's about thinking about the ingredients that are going into your desserts, because we want to think beyond the moment that we're eating those desserts. Meaning, does that dessert satisfy you and leave you content and happy to walk out of the kitchen? Or do those desserts drive more sugar cravings? And a lot of times when you're having like a lot of processed flours or sugars in your desserts, you eat them, you enjoy them, but then you crave more of them. Where often when you do little tweaks like this and you're having something that's more protein forward, lower sugar, it can really not only be delicious and satisfying, but it curbs the craving. So you are satisfied and satiated when you're done eating it. All right, so once I've got both of my jars filled up, then I just pop a lid on them. And then you would just put these in the fridge. I would say a minimum an hour or 2, but you can absolutely make these the day before. And then I'm gonna grab a couple that I made in advance, and I'm gonna show you the texture. Okay, so once it has set up in the fridge, which, side note, you also can eat it right away. It doesn't have to set up. If you eat it right away, again, it's gonna be more like pudding. If you let it set up, you're gonna get more of this type of texture that I have in the one I made yesterday. You're gonna see how rich, can you see this texture? How rich and thick. It's like a chocolate mousse. I mean, it is insane. So you can eat it just like this, which we're gonna do in a second. Or if you want, you could give it a little dollop of Greek yogurt over the top, or you could do a little fresh whipped cream. And then you could do chocolate chips, chocolate shavings. I happen to have some of these cacao nibs in my pantry, which I haven't been eating. So I thought this was the perfect time to use them. It's basically unsweetened chocolate in raw form. So it's not sugary, but it's got that rich depth of cocoa flavor. Nice little crunch. So how cute is that? Right? And it's an individual serving. You just get your little spoon in there and let's give it a go. If you have not jumped on, if I couldn't convince you with cottage cheese bagels and cottage cheese Alfredo and cottage cheese bolognese, maybe I can convince you with cottage cheese chocolate mousse, because I am telling you, this is to die for. I'm so excited for you to give it a try. As always, you can grab the recipe below. You can print it on my website. All of these links for you are down in the description box below, and I can't wait to hear what you think. So come on down to the comments and let me know. And if you enjoy simple, healthy recipes just like this, be sure you check this one out next. Cheers.